Hey y'all, it's Cody, Chapman's Farm and Greenhouses. We got bed and plant plugs in and we're fixing to plant them. Probably going to see me in 2-3 different shirts in these videos because this is going to take me about a week or so. But just want to show you how I plant the different size plugs and the pots that I put them in. Let me walk you through our plug trays real quick and then we'll get started. Alright, here we go. We got some lavender. 2-3 different colors of lantana. We've got a mixture color of begonias. Dianthus. I hadn't planted dianthus in a couple years, but we're fixing to today. We got some red salvia. I hadn't planted it in a couple years. We're going to do some more of it. We've got a mixed color of verbena, a mixed color of marigolds, Dusty Miller. I have the Century Celosias that did really well last year. These things get really big. I do 2 colors of petunia hanging baskets, mixed color of zinnias. Something new for me this year that I've not planted before is sun patience. So we're going to do those in hanging baskets and see how they do. I've actually got 3 colors of sweet potato vine. I've already got the other color on the table, potting table, but I've got those. I've got mixed colors of vinca. I've got a mixed color of impatient, and I have some collias. So we're going to try to plant this, and like I said, it's going to take me about a week. Mainly do this by myself. Some of it's hanging baskets, some of it's 6-inch pots, some of it's 4-inch pots, but we're going to see how it's done. So y'all come along, let's go. All right, I've already got my soil moistened up. I've already got 1 or 2 of these in a pot, but these are Marguerite sweet potato vine. They're kind of the classic white green sweet potato vine that everyone likes. I put these in 6-inch pots so they'll get some good size to them, and they seem to be a little more manageable in the greenhouse outside of a tray. It's one thing you have to kind of take into consideration is how the plant grows. You don't want a viney plant like this being all tangled up in a really tight tray. Now when I place these on the table, I will put space in between them. I will not leave them in the 6-inch tray carrier, and that is just to give them some airspace and room to stretch out a little bit, and they won't get tangled up and get torn up while folks pick them up and move them around and look at them and decide which ones they like. Now I'm not burying these super deep, just kind of as deep as the top of the plug dirt. Pots are stuck, but just make a hole with my finger and go to about the top of the plug dirt, give her a tap or 2, bounce or 2, and she's ready to go. Now I generally go pretty fast on bedding plants because I have so many of them, and I'm by myself, so I usually don't let too much grass grow under my feet when I'm planting these, because I got so many, and again I'm by myself. So yeah, that's how I plant the sweet potato vines. And I'll come back to you when we're planting some of these different size plugs, just to kind of show you how I plant them and why I plant them in the pots that I pot them in. So dude's got some good roots to him. So, but all right, so we've got a couple carriers full. We're gonna place them now. Come with me. All right, as you can see, I have geraniums toward the front of the house there, and I have already potted my citronella plants that I propagated. Don't think I made a video on that, but I might try that next year when that time comes around. I'm going to just keep gumming with these 6-inch pots toward the back of the house here. I'm not going to space these out quite as much as I have the citronella plants and the geraniums. Probably a couple inches less if you go by the squares on the table. That's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to spread them out front to back the same way, but I'm going to have them a little tighter side to side. And they really just don't need as much space as the geraniums and the citronella plants, and that's the reason I'm doing that. I normally put these toward the front of the house, but I'm running out of room. I've ordered so much stuff this time. I'm going to wind up with more bedding plants in this house than I normally have, and I'm trying to utilize as much space as I can. So let's go back to potting. All right, we've moved on to lantana. I've already potted quite a few of these, but coming back, just wanted to show you I do put these in 6-inch pots, give them some room to grow because they get quite a good size to them. These are a mounding lantana, and this little plug by the end of the summer will be that big. They do have a very noticeable scent to them. They have a somewhat of a lemony sort of scent to them, no matter what the color. But hummingbirds love them. They're very easy to grow. They can run these a little dry. They don't like to be absolutely soaking wet. They like sunshine, and they'll bloom all summer. We have kept lantanas long enough to use them to decorate at the pumpkin patch up through the end of October. So they're a pretty good easy annual to grow and maintain, and they'll give you good color all summer. So a lot of folks love the lantanas just because of that, and they're kind of somewhat airy, but they have these pretty vibrant blooms and great smell to them. So I'm gonna go ahead and move these over to my next house, and you guys can come over there with me and see what I've got done. All right, you notice, you paid attention to my other house, I do count the squares, and I've got 6 to a row on these. I'm trying to conserve some room. Excuse me, I would probably put these 5 to a row if not for that. Just running out of room with the extra bedding plants and baskets and stuff that I've ordered this time. But yeah, I've potted quite a few already, and got quite a few more to go. So, but y'all hang with us, and we'll plant something else. All right, we're moving on to bedding plants, smaller bedding plants now. Now I am potting what's called Dusty Miller. This particular variety is called Silver Dust. It is a foliage plant, and you can see why they call it Dusty Miller. It looks dusty. Now this plant it can do well in the sun or shade. In my opinion, it does better in the sun. It's going to be bushier. In the shade, it tends to get a little, what I call stringy. Just not as thick and pretty. This is a good add-on plant, or you can plant it by itself. It looks really good with something red, and I intend on putting these right beside my red salvia. They look good mixed with a geranium. Anything that's just got a deeper color to it, as far as a red or something like a lavender or something like that, it's going to look really good with it. Even a peachy pink or a coral. But I put these in 4-inch pots, as you can see. They will do well in the summer heat here in Tennessee. My wife put one in a planter last year and pretty much ignored it all summer, and it made it on up into November. But these plants will turn into this by the time fall gets here, and it'll do better if you take care of it and actually water it and fertilize it and that sort of thing. But these are what I call an add-on or a mixing bedding plant, and it's just to give a pop of color. They do not bloom. They're simply a foliage plant. But yeah, I'm potting these up now, so we'll bring you back when we've got something different on the table. Okay, we're moving on to red salvia now. this is the red salvia as it looks now. And if you remember in my tomato video, I talked about the little cells that I didn't like seeding in, and you can see why. You'll tear tomatoes up coming out of these little cells, and also the roots will kind of come out the top and get tangled with other plants, and then you're going to tear root structure up. But it works great for bedding plant seed. This salvia doesn't have a trumpet bloom, it's more of a tubular bloom. They're about 10 to 12 inches tall. That's what they'll look like finished out. They like the heat of summer here in the south, and butterflies, bumblebees, and hummingbirds love them. They're a good add-on around borders, mixed pots, things like that. Just a real pretty bright plant. They look real good with that Dusty Miller that I potted earlier. The red and white look really good together. And if you had like a bluish purple sort of flower to mix with them, you could have your red, white, and blue mixed pot. But they are a taller plant, so if you do put them in a mixed pot or porch pot, you're either going to want to put them toward the back or in the middle for the thriller, so to speak, the thriller and the spiller and all that. But they are a little bitty dude right now. And of course, I'm going to do updates on these things as they're growing and blooming. But just wanted to show you the salvia. That's what we moved to now. So check out me potting them really fast and fertilizing them really fast and tagging them really fast. All right, we're back at the potting table. We've got a big flat of dianthus, and if you can tell, I have a wonderful, beautiful assistant today, my beautiful wife.
Hello.
And talking a little bit about dianthus, I'll run out of pots.
So if you're familiar with dianthus, these are good for the sun. They can handle a little bit of shade. But they are short and bushy, and one of my favorites because they have bright red, pink, and white blooms, and they have lots of blooms all season. So
they are a bloomer, and these are considered an annual, but in our climate here, occasionally, not always, but occasionally these will come back, especially in a planter or something like that. And they have silver dollar size blooms. The blooms are the edges are almost serrated looking, the way they look. They're a real neat little flower. And we've not grown them in a while. It's been 3 or 4 years since I've grown them, and just decided to add them back to the inventory this year. So but we're gonna pot a few more of these up, and we'll talk to you when we got something else on the table. All right, we're moving on to verbena. It's a little silliness going on in here, and as you can see, these are in a 288 tray. These are multicolored. I'll show you a tag if I have one somewhere. I'll let Tay talk about them or she's gonna get the tag. Verbena are more of a spiller. They kind of spill out and grow down like that. They've got very pretty blooms on them. These are mixed colors. I believe they're
Obsession.
Obsession, if I remember right. They bloom really hard. You do have to do some maintenance to these. They don't like to be soaking wet. They don't like to be super dry. But you do have to do some maintenance as far as picking old blooms or trimming them back and that sort of thing. Yeah, we're about to pot these up.
They're pretty. They're easy. They like sun. They like heat, so they tolerate summers here in Tennessee really well. I don't have the green thumb. It did not get passed through with the marriage, but I'm learning, and Verbina's a good one to give a try. So
Kind of cut your teeth on, huh? But as far as putting them in with something else, if you were doing a mixed pot of these or a planter, I would put these toward the front. Let's say this is our big pot here, and you've got maybe a geranium on the back. You would want to put these on the front so they'll spill out the front and bloom and be pretty and add different colors. So just something a little different about those, and we'll come back when we've got something else on the table. All right, we're moving on to petunia baskets. Not rocket science. We're filling up our 11-inch hanging basket. Just use an old pot as a scoop. I fill these up pretty good because the dirt seems to settle in these hanging baskets pretty good after you water them a few times. But I'm gonna make 4 holes. I'm gonna come in, and this is a mixed color basket, so I'll show you how I do the mixed colors. I like to put 4 plugs in my petunia baskets. It seems like it makes them fuller and prettier. But I'll do a blue, which is a purple. I'll do a pink here. I'll do another blue here, and a pink here. And that'll spread out the bloom color in the basket when they bloom, and make it pretty. It won't be one-sided, look like somebody cut it in half. I don't want to do that. I want it to be spread out and pretty. So, but that's how I plant petunia baskets. So let me get on the stick and get some more of them potted. And that wraps up our 2026 bedding plant potting. I want to give a big thank you to everyone that watched the video, and hope to see some new faces this spring. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and come back and see us. We'll be posting more videos as things get to growing and blooming. And again, we appreciate everyone for watching with us. Be sure to check us out on social media. Chapman's Farm and Greenhouses. We're in Pulaski, Tennessee. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks.